Okay, and the magic machine has been in life. Coming up to fitness, better than 2 sounds I said it said. I can look over here and kind of put an every sound. And can look over here and put that down to the test and looking down at you, that's in kind of, which doesn't make sense because I think I'm going to come off with a fairly patronizing tone at 7 points in this video. I'm 50 years old, and I've tried people, and after I signed the jump, that I hope it doesn't encourage anyone to jump out of those areas. I'm not saying that every 50-year-old person is like this, but I'm like this. Definitely. I'm definitely like the, you call that music stage design development. And, um, back in my day, music was better. I don't know if back in the day, music was better, but I definitely have a tendency to be like music today is not that good. I don't know much about Tame Impala. For whatever reason, I decided to consume my biases about modern music. I don't listen to a lot of modern music. Um, and for whatever reason, I decided to reacquaint myself and consume my biases about Anthony Santana, the British music jubilista, decided to release his top 10 worst albums of 2025. So I thought I would listen to them all and review them as well. Yes, we did this. You see, I still bird in the outside, looking to the outside. It's there, it's there, it's there, it's there. So that one, I don't know if I never really sat down and listened to Tame Impala before. I'm a big Old My Bloody Valentine and Fuga's music fan. So occasionally I was living in Tame Impala those because, people would be reviewing different titles and stuff, so, Fuga's guitar tunes, I would say, here's like a Tame Impala style tune or whatever. So I know that at some point that has evolved and changed, and I think that in these projects that it's essentially this one guy. This one chubby headed that's the mastermind behind Tame Impala. And there's been a more or less civilization that kind of evolved in time or whatever. There's going to be reviewing the most recent record from 2025, Deadbeat. And so a little bit about my attitude about music is I tend to focus things on nostalgia. So I have a tendency to believe that most of our modern culture is now the result of this reiterating loops of repetition, mainly around 25 and 30-year loops. So if you take a look at what's going on in 2025, so that in 25 is like that. Um, if you look at what's going on in 2025, 2026, to my ears, it's no surprise if I hear a lot of uh, 2000 returns and 1995 and 1996 in the next 20 years, 30 years seems to be the youth that we tend to run. And my confirmation is the concerns. My beliefs were concerned when I heard this record Deadbeat. If those doesn't sound right, that must be the Ashley Bird said that language is this. Could you guys hear it? Rather says it, which is interesting considering Tame Impala's sound. That sucks. Let's see if we can fix the audio. Hold on. Hello, hello, hello. That was Very fuzzy sound waves. Wait. That never did. Is that what? Do you have any idea anymore? You got 4 minutes or 4 minutes. But that's nice that I've managed to figure out the matter at first. Can you hear me now? Or can you not hear me at all? Still can't understand your necklaces. Okay, that's that. We're not going to pursue that. You like to speak language. How about now? Can you understand me now? Mic check. Are we getting the audio issues with the mic check? Hmm. Someone said, okay, that's no good. That's no good. But I appreciate you being here to have this audio issues. You said, Ashley Bird, Ashley Bird, initially that's the something that I have to give you a learning. But you did that. But the second one was a that's for sure. I don't know what this is. It's been I wonder if, hold on. No, Jennifer, don't. See, no, this is that, that's gonna say something in here. But I even have genocide. He's doing it, maybe doing this to test. And it's the same for me, and that's the bad. And here's, when I need help the most, even genocide, is treating me like it's telling me. You know what I mean? It says as this. Who needs Tame Impala? Holy shit. I'm slapping in that murder. This is definitely my murder. And every time I'm head on, and then first passes that, oh, damn it. This is, this is about people that live in this good. The system is entirely fine benefits. And I said, no, that is it. That is it. That is it.
Hello, hello, hello. Hello, 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 hello. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Holy mother. And I can see that the mic volume on this one is low. Now you can hear me. Now you can hear me. Oh my God. So, folks, great news is 9.5 minutes into the review. Well, don't worry, folks, because me, I'll just go in with my crack editing skills and take out the first 9.5 minutes, 9 minutes and 45 seconds, and we'll just fix that. No, we won't. We know that that's not going to happen. So let's do this. Let's end the stream and just start over again, right? That's the only way to do this. That's the only way to do this. Does the mic sound okay now? Leave it. Jonaside says leave it. Well, Jonas, I wound up with 10 minutes of who's going to stay through the first 10 minutes to get to the fucking Tame Impala review. Cinema Verite, I'll take a vote. Who says we just keep going? We'll take it to a vote. We got Papa Prime 5187. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the proceedings. We've Osprey, Bird, and we have Genocide. We got 4 people, including me. Osprey Bird says no. Genocide says keep going. Osprey Bird says for the other language, your default. Here we go. Tame Impala, Deadbeat. 10 minutes and 51 seconds in. We'll get into the review. Folks, so yeah, absolutely. It reminded me of sounds from 30 years ago to 20 years ago, but not in a good way. Band meets beats. You sounded like you were using a melodica the entire time. Well, if you were looking for sample material, and Lord knows everybody is, okay, bust out your teenage engineering OP17s or whatever it is, and you're just gonna be in hog heaven, okay? You can make a sly comment on social media engineering and the ridiculousness of Tame Impala reviews by sampling my melodica tones. Holy crap. If I sounded like a melodica the entire time, who's going to listen to 10.5 minutes of that to get to the review? FML. No. FM Tame Impala. Deadbeat. Catch later, y'all. Osprey Bird is like, if he's not doing melodic tone, I'm out of here. I'm a purist. I'm a CW champion purist. If he's going to actually be legible, if I can actually hear this guy's voice, forget it. Forget it. I'm out. Don't worry, Osprey. I'll go back to the old tone. Osprey Bird is one of these guys. I don't listen to shit unless it's on 45 or 8 track. Forget you guys. Your fancy 45s. Your shellac, your vinyl. I'll be back here with my 8 tracks and my wire recordings. Oh my God. Tame Impala. The Touchstone. Tom Katz on Kicks wants to stream with you. If I knew who Tom Katz was, we would have a better time saying hello to that. Ico heads. Yeah, I get it. No, that's great. That's wonderful. I hear you, Tom Katz. What's up? Tame Impala. So here's the deal. There's nothing about this album that sucks. The album is perfectly reasonable, though there's parts on it where the sound gets a little bit rough. It's because they want it. They want to make it sound like edgy, but the sound gets edgy enough to be like, it's like the presets on the synthesizer that's like dirty synth. You know what I mean? It gets edgy enough. It gets as edgy as like the dirtiest sound on a Cher remix will get, right? It never gets super noisy. It gets as noisy as the extra demo track on the blue, like on the New Order, bonus box set, right? It gets a little rough. And for my money, it's like, does that move anybody anymore? Like, what is the deal? And it's just band meets the beat, which is this, is that like when I was coming up and into like the rave scene and electronic music, I got into it via, the goth industrial scene. And there was this natural organic growth of seeing bands that were either coming out of the indie rock scene who were into drugs, being exposed to rave culture, and getting more sound effect equipment and more synthesizer stuff and gear, and starting to experiment with, drum beats and loops and stuff, and getting more techno-y from that end. And there were also new wave bands getting older, but they were still had synthesizers and stuff in their equipment. We say hello to Mario Heat on Twitch. and they were aware via the electronic scene that they were already into that techno music was becoming the new language of electronic music. So they were starting to get more clubby beats into their, trying to revamp their sound by putting more clubby beats into their already kind of established new wave pop sound. But everybody was, there were older people that were trying to reinvent themselves with the new techno and rave sounds that were happening. And some of the rave people were kind of embracing that and getting, meeting them halfway and putting some rock guitars into the stuff like the Prodigy and stuff. And there were some people that did it well. And there were some people that were just obviously kind of desperately kind of trying to make it happen. When I listen to this Tame Impala record, Deadbeat, what I'm reminded of from the 90s is not the bands that did it well. I'm reminded, I constantly took notes here, and the notes that I take never reference bands like the Butthole Surfers or Nine Inch Nails or the Happy Mondays, or I never name checked, Exterminator by, Primal Scream. The bands that I kept on making notes about were, do you remember Simply Red? Simply Red were on their way to be a one-hit wonder by the mid 90s. They had that song, Reeling in the Years, right? They were going to be a one-hit wonder, but then for whatever reason, in the mid 90s, they started releasing these, like they had this one breakthrough album that like kind of mixed in like some kind of clubby techno beats. But that's like the word clubby. It wasn't rave, it was clubby. Like it was like handbag music, as the British would call it. It was like, straight, posh, secretary, club music. This is what the danciest stuff on this Tame Impala record is like that. It's not raving. It's really a guy making kind of like 30-year-old club beats. And as a guy who heard that kind of stuff 30 years ago, it really isn't that impressive. Look, and if they're the Tame Impala fans who hear this, I'm not trying to like yuck your yum. It's just like one of the things, like when I was especially when I was like a 15-year-old, I'd be impassioned about bands that I was impassioned about. Bands like Venom and Slayer, who I thought were like the greatest band ever, you know? And there'd be older cats who say things about the music that I love. Like, yeah, they're great, but they sound a little bit like this. Or, there were bands that did stuff like this. So I'd be like, and I'd be like so impassioned about the music and like true metal, only true metal, and blah, blah, blah. And as you get older, you realize that some of the stuff that you thought was always, or even with rave music, the stuff that I thought was purely a product of a youth movement and youth culture movement of organic people who really gave us stuff, damn about organic things. And it was really a product of us doing things like even indie music and stuff. As I got older and more mature and started to do things, with music and be club promoters and get involved in the music industry to a slight degree, you realize that a lot of this stuff is just corporate machinations behind the scenes, and you make music and you learn about music and you learn about music equipment, especially when I learned about music equipment and techno and how it was actually put together and made, and bought some, synthesizers, some groove boxes, and you realize noise music, experimental music, and shoegaze music, you realize how easy it is to impress people and make a good solid noise, especially when people are in their mind on drugs. And you also realize a lot of this shenanigan music, the stuff with a lot of reverb and a lot of sound effects and a lot of musical stuff going on, it doesn't really stick in the memory, and a lot of it's covering up the fact that underneath it all, there might not be a lot of stuff going on. I mean, I love My Bloody Valentine, and Loveless is one of my favorite records of all time. But me and my friends who love Loveless and grew up on Loveless all are cognizant and aware of the fact that if you were to play these tunes on acoustic guitar, And look at the lyrics to a lot of the songs on Loveless. There's not really lyrics there, and there's not really a melody. You were listening to the sound of the record, all those guitars stacked on top of each other, and there is something there. And I'm not trying to say it's fake music or it's not music, but it's not a singer-songwriter communicating to you or talking to you in the way that a traditional singer-songwriter does. It is being overwhelmed by sound. And that is a sound that anyone can purchase. Anyway, let's get to the actual tracks and my tear through. That was just a little bit of verbiage that may tell you more about me and my attitude about things than the record. And I acquiesce that. You can tell me what you think about the intro if you've made it this far in the comment section below, and I hope you do. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to support a guy. I hear you, Mario Heat. I hear your comments in Mario Heat. We're just trying to stay to the album review. We have we got this guy, long time no see. Hope you're doing well, CW. I am. Thank you. If you don't know me by now, there you go. Hey, say what you want about Simply Red. That guy could sing, which is why he didn't need to sing through $850 worth of reverb. Anyway, first song up is My Old Ways. It starts with vocals and piano. So sweet. And then the 90s house beat drives in. And I write down pure nostalgia loop. Band meets the beat. This is exactly what I was talking about. This is the cornerstone. Band meets the beat. This was 1995, 1996 nostalgia loop. All the bands were like, the kids are listening to electronic music and techno. Better buy those drum machines. Better buy those groove boxes. Better get those sample CDs in. Get our DJ producer and run the whole mix through the EQ. Let's get the filter effects and get those vocoders in. Track number 2, No Reply. It should tell you why I'm one of these reviews of these songs are going to be 2-3 lines. There's no there here. There are no lyrics. This guy is not a wordsmith. God bless him. You don't need to be a wordsmith. This is your songs that you wrote in high school through just a shit ton of effects. And not every band that's like this is like this. Okay, Radiohead are not just the bands you wrote in high school through a bajillion effects. And I don't know if this is every Tame Impala record or if this is just this one. I haven't heard the other records. Second song, No Reply. The New Order dance party continues. No more edge in demo room distortion pushed audio. Again, this song sounded exactly like it just sounded like late era New Order, like the album with the chick with the beach ball. Like it's late era New Order, but with a little distortion on the vocals, like it's a demo room. Like it's just like they're showing that they're, keeping it rough in the mix, which for me didn't do anything. Track number 3 was an absolute, it's called Dracula. In 2025 and 2026, don't write a song called Dracula. Right? You know what I mean? Unless you're like a kid's entertainer, please don't write a song called Dracula. Here's my review of the song called Dracula. Disco cringe beat for Giallo Allah. Escobar name checks Pablo Escobar. Okay? Have you seen the dude from Tame Impala? If you look like the dude from Tame Impala, please don't name check Pablo Escobar. Okay? Right? Or get snot. I mean, honestly. Here's what I wrote: Escobar name check, please. Honestly, there's my review. Here's an actual line: run from the sun like Dracula. And here's my review: run from the sun like Dracula. Last chorus of my third song of sadness. And the reason I amend that by saying last chorus of my third song of sadness, that's my line, is to show and demonstrate that me, as a 50-year-old schmoo, is a better lyricist than this jabroni from Tame Impala. Can you believe this? Oren from Connecticut says, love Tame Impala. Oren from Connecticut, can I ask you a question? Honestly, are you a smoker? Are you a toker? I bet you are. Osprey Bird, run from the sun like Dracula. Oh my God. Oren from Connecticut. Okay, you're not. God bless you. Sober. Amen. God bless you. That was a joke. I was teasing. I was teasing. Okay. Oren or Rinnan, next question. Are you 25 or under? And are you willing to get out? I listen. God bless you. God bless you. God bless. What do you think of the new Tame Impala record? Honestly. Anyway, Run from the Sun like Dracula. 49. Oh my God. God bless you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Music is music. There's plenty of stuff that I listen to that's undefensible. Track number 4, Loser. What do you think of the new album? Have you been a fan for years? And what do you honestly think of the new record? Loser. This sounds exactly like someone. Several someones, not much else to say. Derivative. I couldn't name you who the track Loser sounds like, but it sounds like everybody. It sounds like I couldn't tell you if it sounded exact. Haven't heard the new album yet. It's I'm reviewing it. It sounds like I don't know, like I don't know how to describe it. It sounds like it just sounds like everybody to me. Like it sounded like Dance Party USA, everybody. But track number 5 is called Oblivion. And this is where I wrote rave under the influence of too much reverb. It's honestly like this is to me, to Oren says to me he sounds like a modern day Floyd. Well, that's part of the problem because a modern day Floyd, the Pink Floyd made their records. And here's my thing about things that sound like modern day something. Why listen to something that sounds like modern day something when you could just listen to that thing? Now, there are people that are the world's biggest Pink Floyd fans, and Pink Floyd only released X number of records. You want to listen to more Pink Floyd, so you buy Porcupine Tree and Tame Impala records. I mean, I guess so. But for me, it just would seem like there'd be better options, especially this record. This record does not sound like modern Pink Floyd to me. If you're going to tell me that you listen because it sounds like modern Pink Floyd, I don't know what to tell you. Enzel Dave says, "Would you ever shave your beard?" Yes, I have. I've shaved my beard before. My kids don't like it. So this is studio music, and this is also part of the problem. Is like there's certain types of music, rave, techno, improvised, experimental music, where it's like make it, do it live. But why release a CD of it? Does it need to be a permanent record? And this is Oblivion track number 5 is like this. It's like a techno demo, but doesn't need to be on a record. Rave under the influence of too much reverb. I feel confident calling this a 90s nostalgia tracking. It's a pure 90s track, especially strong on check out the DJ's sound effects across the mix. If you want to know a hallmark of 90s, mid 90s to late 90s, early 2000s production technique of the desperate bands trying to get involved in the techno scene, it's running the entire band mix right through the filter. So you go, right, we sound like we're in another room, but now we're in the room with you and the water, right? Running through the whole effect through delays and stuff and all this stuff. I love you, CW, but a lot of people seem to like him and go to his shows. Okay. Do you know who else that's true of? Barry Manilow. Right? Hey, if I told you that Nickelback outsold Tame Impala, would that by definition make Nickelback better? Oren, Iranian, God bless you. I love you. God bless you. This is not a debate. This is an album review. I'm not a fan of the new one. Hey, for all you know, you're gonna tell. Hey, you know what I'll say? Orinian, or Orin in Connecticut. Oh, it's Orin in Connecticut. It's stupid. Just yeah, people still go to Carrot Top comedy shows and tell me the best Tame Impala record you know, and I'll listen to that one too. Right? I'm not saying people like, you know what I mean. Metallica made Load. That doesn't change the fact that they also made Master of Puppets. Right? I'm not saying that. I'm not putting a death. I'm not calling a fatwa for the guy. Anyway, not my. Oh, and also the '90s nostalgia loop. In the '90s, the Orb released a record called Oblivion. And when I see this song called Oblivion, I just can't help think that it just reminds me of that whole nostalgia loop. This album could have been released in 1995, anytime between 1995 and 2000. And that's part of the thing. It's like, why are we still making music, and why are we still calling this music that sounds like music made 30 years ago? Why are we associating it with scenes that are supposed to be hallmarks of revolution and newness and novelty and new activity? Are we not capable of doing new things? It's a question. I don't want to assume the answer, but the answer may be there, and we don't have to be upset or sad about it. I want to engage with it. Track number 6, Not My World. More New Order demos for the collector's edition box set. Don't forget to party in the studio with your new toys, aging pop stars. And I said, a memory not necessarily for today, mixtape or album. It's just that was it. It would seem like a New Order demo tape. Now, you say different strokes for different folks, Oren, but remember, you yourself admitted you haven't heard the new record. So, Oren, you could hear this new Tame Impala record, right? And come away and be like, damn, C.W. Chanter was right on the money. This doesn't sound like the old Tame Impala records. This guy sounds like he shit the bed. Haven't you ever heard a record by a band that you used to love where they shit the bed? Because I have. I've gotten some brand new records by some bands that I was expecting to kick my ass, only to put that bad boy in and be like, what? What happened here, man? Piece of Heaven, spelled Piece, like a piece, not like piece of heaven, but like piece of heaven. And I'm assuming about this about the kid on the album cover. The stupid and wrong spelling is noted. That's me teasing. Sure, the sounds are lovely, but the sounds are still from circa 87, 91. OMD, Simple Minds, Level 42, The Mode. But then it becomes an era goulash. Oh, the found audio verite voicemails on tape. This is the sole topic of the live. Can you read, Oren? Don't get upset. Yeah, of course it is. It's an album review. Yeah. The songs on this track, Piece of Heaven, are like preset sounds from like a D50 or a Roland D50 or a Roland D10. They're right out of either 87 or 91, possibly up to 95 era keyboard sounds. But we just spent our entire time in the 90s raving it up, and now he wants to go back to like 81, 85. This doesn't make any fucking sense sonically. It sounds good, it sounds groovy, but it's still the case that you're going back to these vintage sounds. And why? The whole album sounds like just a collection of random tracks, which is fine. Number 8, Obsolete, mid 90s lounge house with voice, late era Simple Minds. Ain't nothing new under the sun, without a doubt. And again, when I could have name checked bands, right? like Nitzareb or KMFDM or the Jesus Lizard or something, or the Butthole Surfers. Some people that worked with synthesizers or Public Image Limited, people that worked with Gang of Four, people that, you know what I mean? People that worked with synthesizers and beats and drums and so, or dub reggae or some stuff. I'm constantly reminded of Simple Minds, which is not bad. I mean, it is what it is, but it's still a band that's more appropriate for when they existed, VH1 rather than MTV 120 Minutes. But then again, the kids 14 years in 2014, which is now 12 years ago when Vaporwave was the thing, the hipster kids were listening to Weather Channel music. So I don't know, maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm too old. Maybe I don't get it. You know what I mean? No, it's the kids that are wrong. Anyway, number 9, Ethereal Connection. Oh, this mother wants to go hard. Don't fall slippy, old timer. Future music CD cover beats and a groove box at grandma's funeral. And the breakdown happens after 32 bars when we hit this button. This Ethereal Connection song, oh baby, he tries to go hard. This is the stupidest song on this record. It comes out of nowhere and it does nothing. And by the way, I don't attach to a speaker. They're called groove boxes, right? And you used to be able to buy them in 1993 for like, oh god, like almost $1,000. Now you could buy them for like $150 on Amazon, and you could do this stuff too. You can. No, no. So there you go. Oh my god! I got all the people giving me hash today. Bad Cat returns. I'm 50. Okay, what do you want me to do? Go get work done? I'm 50. Jeez, come on now. Is this because you like Tame Impala? Anyway, track number 10. Bad Cat returns says, "I'm older than you, lol." Yes, but are you on camera? Can we check out the bags under your eyes? Likewise for Papa Prime. Can we check out the bags under your eyes? Baby, I'm okay with how I look at 50. And people could take swings. It's a lot easier to take swings from behind the guise of a faceless avatar. Come at you, boy. Anyway, a lot of Tame Impala fans. A lot of Tame Impala fans out here. Anyway. Oh, damn it. Give me a second, folks. We're just going to deal with this. Let's see. Oh, so I got to Afterthought. No, you're going to have to stop, brother. Hold on, let me just deal with this. You just got to deal with the brother. Sorry. Anyway. Hey. Oh, not a problem. Dear Batcat, my apologies if I took it too if I took it personal or came at you hot. Dude wasn't crapping on you. I looked happy the way your eyes crinkle when they're happy. Okay. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. We were on number 9, Ethereal Connection. The guy tried to go hard. Don't Fall Slippy, Future Music CD cover beats on a groove. Like basically, the thing is this: Future Music was this magazine that came out in England all the time. They used to have a CD on the top that had samples on it, and that's basically all this stuff is derivative. All the beats are frozen dry, and you know, repeat on repeat. None of them are original. After you know what I mean, all the stuff is standard breakdown, build it up, break it down type beats. Number 10, See You on Monday. You're Lost. Back to the piano and reverb voice. If Joe Jackson brought down the resolution on his songwriting, so he goes to reverb the piano and his voice. The default Tame Impala thing seems to be because this dude doesn't actually have a good voice. He sings through like a regular reverb into another reverb into a plate reverb into another reverb. It's all reverbed out, which sounds amazing, especially if you're high. But if you actually listen to what the guy is saying, the song lyrics, he doesn't say anything. It's like, I love you. I love you. It's true. Do. Don't you love me too? There's nothing here, which is fine. I mean, minimalism is minimalism. That's great, but it is what it is. Track number 11, Afterthought. Now, also track number 10, based on the way things go, when you get to track number 10, this piano thing, this light piano and reverb thing, it kind of feels like the final song. It kind of feels like we're done. But then you have track number 11, Afterthought, where I wrote, was it really? Question mark, because it kind of seems like an addendum on the end of an album that's already ended. Back to the Disco with the dude that produced that One Simple Minds record that slapped. Oh man, the white producers and their friends were totally nodding their heads to this one in the off-white interiors of studio wherever when this one came on. And I wrote again, perfect for 1996. And there's another song, End of Summer. Oh, great. Another beat. This time. That's it. That's the entire Tame Impala record. Did it suck? It all worked. Would I listen to it again? I could listen to it again, but why would I? There's nothing offensive about it. There's nothing abstract or wrong about it. It's not so bad that it's good, but it's just so mediocre that it's just there. It happened. It occurred. Anthony Fantano released his list of the 10 worst records that he reviewed in 2025. And I got a yen to review them all to see what the worst records, according to Anthony Fantano, in 2025 would sound like. And I've listened to the first one, number 10, Tame Impala's Deadbeat. And I found it to sound, to me, like a record that could have easily come out in 1995, 96, though if it had come out in 1995, 96, it wouldn't have been the best record that came out at that time. It would have been one of the many records that came out in 1995, 96 from a guy who probably came from the indie rock scene, who bought a drum machine and some keyboards and some synths and wanted to make some beats as well, mix those in. And guess what? It's incredibly easy to do. And guess what? If your audience is not used to hearing techno beats and sounds, it's going to sound novel to them and interesting to them. But if you've been listening to that shit for over 30 years, you're going to say to yourself, it's going to be more of a disturbing experience because you're going to say to yourself, how the fuck, after 30 years, are people still doing this? But I guess it doesn't have to be because it's my old ears. It's stuff that sounds like 30 years ago, but for the kids, it sounds new to them. And I'm this is the first Tame Impala record I've heard. And there are Tame Impala fans who might love it, and there are Tame Impala fans who might hate it. There are Tame Impala fans who will love it because they're just the average fan of bands are just going to be like, yay. And some people who say they hate it will just may say they hate it for fashion reasons. Who knows? It's no big deal. It's just a record review. It started off with bad audio. Go figure. But we got it done and we got it in the can. And we got back to this. I'm the one who works here now channel on YouTube after a long time gone. We live streamed it additionally onto Twitch and onto Kick. And I see that Tom Katz has been eager to stream with me on Kick, and I'm totally down with that if I knew who the fuck Tom Katz was. So Tom Katz, send me an email, send me a line, send me a DM, send me something. I'll get to know you, and maybe we can do something next time with some pre-planning. And until then, I'll bid you fond adieu and remind you I got nothing against Tame Impala. I got nothing against Tame Impala fans. The record wasn't the worst record I've ever heard. If it was, I would have liked it more, right? The worst record that I've ever heard is something I don't know what the worst record I've ever heard is, but I would have liked it better because it would have been something extraordinary, right? There's nothing worse to me than average, right? There's nothing lamer than it was. How was the book? You know, paint by numbers. You say hello to Tim Frey. You're late, baby. We're about to end. What are you going to do? It happens. Point is, you're here now. King of Wands. Where am I? Oh, there you are. Fire of Fire. Tame Impala creates. He creates what he wants to create. For some, it will be a hit. For some, it will be a miss. And it will change over time. People's opinions may change over time. There have been records that I have heard at one point in time and thought that was the worst. And at a later point in time, I thought, you know what? I like that thing. I love it, actually. Will that happen with this album? I doubt it because I don't see myself coming back and wanting to review this Tame Impala record. I could see myself listening to a different Tame Impala record to see what else they had on offer, but I can't see myself coming back to this one anytime soon because why? There's other records to be heard and to listen to. You know what I mean? Where are you going to go to eat? Yeah, there's all these other restaurants that I was meaning to try, but before I do, remember that lame restaurant that we didn't have the greatest time at? Yeah, I thought you didn't like it that much. I didn't. It wasn't terribly offensive. It's not that I hated it. It wasn't spectacular, but I think I might go back there and give it another try. Why? You think it's got some promise? No, I really don't. I don't think it's got any promise at all. I'm expecting to have the same mediocre, lame kind of experience. Well, then why go back? No reason. Why would I do that? You know what I mean? We also have Amy Collins joins CW. I'm glad you're up on the latest. I'm catching up on listening to all the albums. Robert Christogal. I always have trouble with that name. Christogal hated in 1972. There you go. Well, you got your work cut out for you. I love you. I love you. I love you. If nobody told you they loved you today, somebody just did. That somebody's CW Chanter. Hey, and never forget, I might not love the record, but that doesn't mean I don't love the guy, chubby Mr. Friendly Tame Impala. I bet you if I shaved, I'd look like an older version of that guy. Probably. Generic, chubby Whitester number 3. Can we get Chubby Whitester number 3 on the scene? You mean like Tame Impala? Exactly. Orin in Connecticut. Did you used to like Tame Impala? What caused you to listen to the album in the first place? I've been over this. I feel like I've been over this a couple of times. Um, and I'll tell you, Mario, we'll give you Sleep Token's latest album, I think, was his number 1 least favorite record in 2025. So we'll get there. We'll have to listen to that one. Anthony Fantano released his top 10 worst records of 2025, and I decided that I was going to listen to all of them and review them one by one. Tame Impala's Deadbeat was number 10, which is why we started there. I believe that I said that several times during this time, but I believe that several of the times that I may have said that might have been when you were either not present or when my audio was impossible to understand. Preview when we get to Sleep Token. Why are they considered a metal band? Regardless, Sleep Token's drummer is very, very skilled. All drummers in bands of that caliber are very skilled. Why? Because it's no problem, Warren. It's no problem. Don't worry about it. Is because drummers are so rare that drummers rarely listen to the type of music in the bands that they play in. Right? This is a very little secret. If you think that the drummer in the goth band is a goth, if you think the drummer in the extreme metal band actually listens to extreme metal, if you think the drummer in the thrash metal band actually listens to thrash metal, they're all basically hired guns. And as far as Sleep Token is concerned, they're all hired guns. And Sleep Token, if everybody doesn't know, Sleep Token were a wannabe Tame Impala solo act that realized he wasn't going to get anywhere as a lame solo Tame Impala guy. So he put on makeup and became Sleep Token with a hired bunch of hired guys, which is why I have no idea. It's all fashion. It's all metal has degraded to the point where it's basically professional wrestling. It's the Slipknot effect, which is just basically the Kiss rewind and renewal machine. It's just devolved into comic book characters on stage. That's why 90% of these bands are just like ghosts. It's just one main project leader with a manager and dudes and replaceable dudes and dudettes and makeup and shit and lavish accoutrement and wardrobe, playing music that 15 to 20% of the time might possibly be considered metal. And the remainder of the time is usually pop, some variety of pop. Right? It's just the way that it is. And if you disagree with me, that's fine. Sometimes I'm just right. It's just the way that it goes. We've pulled the card. I've said my piece. I've said the little piece at the end. I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you. Thank you for dealing with the audio problems at the beginning. And we will see each other on the next one if it is to be our fate to see each other on the next one. Until then, please don't be shy about putting your comments or criticisms in the appropriate section below. like, commenting, and subscribing, and all that jazz. Check out my other links to my other YouTube channels and all that other jazz and all that other jazz. And here we go. Away we go. Till next time.